Intense parenting, as promised, we are talking about different languages and how do you start learning another language with a kid. I am not a linguist, but I do know English, which is my second language. I do know Russian, which is my native language, and Ukrainian, which is also my native language. So how did I do it with my kid? I failed miserably. Before I decided to use one strategy with my kid, I tried multiple books, I read multiple articles. Some of them were suggesting. So the first strategy was this. One parent speaks to a kid in English. The other parent should speak to a kid only entirely using different language. Well, in my case, it was not that easy because it's really frustrating whenever you're speaking to your kid and the kid doesn't understand you and you want your kid to understand you. So that's one strategy. The second strategy is that you speak the dominant language of the kid, which is English in our case, and then you kind of say a very, very same thing on, well, using different language. So that's the second strategy. And that was the strategy that I have been using with my kid. It worked a little bit. So the third strategy is to, well, see how your kid works, how your kid's mind works. Because you can start speaking with your kid in English and speak with your kid in English until she is 6 months old, for instance. And then you could switch to Russian or Ukrainian and speak another 6 months with your kid using that language. Well, that didn't work out with us very well because she was going to preschool, she was going to kindergarten, and that basically was English. And only at home she was able to communicate with us in Russian or in Ukrainian. So, but I have many friends, many different friends who have succeeded in doing this, in raising a bilingual child or trilingual child for that matter. And it worked for them perfectly, but you need patience because one family, the father would speak only in Russian to the kid, whereas the mother would speak only in English. It worked perfectly. The kid now knows Russian and English. Another family, the grandma would speak in Spanish to the kid, and the parents would speak in English. Result, the kid knows both languages, Spanish and English. I have an amazing example of a family where an American dad went to Russia back in the days of the former Soviet Union, I think. He learned Russian language over there, returned back to the United States, got married here, married an American woman. So we have a family who speaks only in English. And then they have kids, and guess what? This dad starts communicating with his kids only in Russian. And the result, right now, his kids are fluent in both Russian and English because the mother, of course, speaks in English to them because she's American and she doesn't know any other languages. Father, though, on the other hand, he does know Russian and he has been using Russian all this time with those kids. And oh my gosh, you should have seen those kids and how they speak in Russian, even though the parents are both American. So yeah, if you want your kid to be bilingual, it's up to you what strategy you use. You just need patience, desire, and the immense patience once again. I tried all of those strategies. My kid does speak Russian and Ukrainian and English right now, but it was really, really tough because you need patience. patience, patience, and patience. And the dream. The dream is, I want my kid to speak not only in English, but in Russian, but in Ukrainian, in French, Spanish, or whatever language you want.